Hey guys, what's up? It's Castle Perfect here once again, bringing you, guess what? Another Wi-Fi battle. Yeah, this time it's against Wicario. I forgot his YouTube name, but if I somehow manage to, get it back from somewhere, I'll put it down in the description. But anyways, his team is pretty much, based off a lot of powerhouse Pokemon. He's got 3 possible Mega Evolutions, being Tyranitar, Lucario, and Charizard. Greninja is a really fast, hard-hitting Pokemon. He's got a wall, which is Ferrothorn, and Aegislash is that one Pokemon that, I totally despise. But whatever, I'll just go ahead and see what I can do in this battle. I'm actually going to lead off with my Talonflame, as he's going to lead off with his Greninja, which is usually slower than my Talonflame, seeing as how my Talonflame is always trained in max speed with that jolly nature, always outspeeding basically everything that I have to face in this game so far. So he goes for a Water Shuriken, which to my surprise, it's something I don't see often, but it is one of those things which definitely remind me of the fact that Greninja is quite what was that word that I was about to use? They are just, really unpredictable. That's what it is. They can go for a lot of various moves, and they can, catch you off guard just like it did right there. But that U-turn is going to do a lot of damage, and I'm going to send out my Metagross. I catch him off guard right there on the switch. I knew he wanted to switch right there because I don't see a Greninja facing a Metagross at full HP. So I went for the Pursuit, deal a little bit of damage, and I know that on the next turn, or basically whenever he brings out his Greninja back into the field, he's going to die to basically everything that I have to throw at it. So yeah, it's just that weak. So at this point, it was Metagross against Charizard, and I didn't really feel comfortable, having that disadvantage right there. So I switched out into my Salamence, being Dragon type, resistant to fire. He goes for the Will-O-Wisp, which I have to give him credits for that, because creativity brings you a long way. I mean, I did not see that Will-O-Wisp coming at all, and it actually, worked out pretty well for him. He's got my Salamence burn, so I'm actually gonna go for the Dragon Dance. Now you'll be questioning, why did I want for the Dragon Dance? Well, the thing is, at this point my Salamence is burned, so I have absolutely no use for it. Its physical attacks are basically really weak, and I just didn't see the point of me, like going for a straight Dragon Claw or something like that. So I might as well just do that. Go for the Dragon Dance. But now he's gonna bring out his Tyranitar, and he's gonna go for the Stone Edge. Obviously, I didn't anticipate that and went back into my Metagross. I somehow managed to, pretty much convince myself of, conserving my Salamence for later, to use it as a Death Fodder, or just to sponge some hits before I actually sacrifice it just like that. So I'm gonna go for the Hammer Arm here with my Metagross against the Tyranitar. He did see that coming somehow, or maybe he was predicting the Meteor Mash. Whatever the case, he goes out into his Charizard, which is fine by me. I'm gonna get a little bit of leftovers recovery. I'm gonna deal a lot of damage to that Charizard with that Meteor Mash. I think that's a really big amount of damage. Like that was huge. So I'm going to switch out into my Salamence back again, and it is again Charizard versus Salamence, but this time instead of going for the Will-O-Wisp, he goes for the Flamethrower. That is going to deal a little bit of damage. It's obviously not super effective because fire is not super effective against Dragon. The Sand is going to be dealing damage to the both of us, and the Burn is going to, take a toll on my Salamence. At this point, I'm like, what, this is pretty much the time where I have to sacrifice and say goodbye to my Salamence. So I went for a Dragon Claw straight away. He decided to make a switch back into his Tyranitar, and his Tyranitar is gonna take the Dragon Claw like a monster, obviously, because of the fact that I'm burned, and it is not super effective. It's just neutral damage, and just like that, and it just happened. I'm going to go for the Earthquake though, and that is going to do quite a lot of damage considering the fact that I'm actually burned, but he's gonna be able to finish me off with a Crunch, which is totally fine. So after this turn, I'm actually questioning myself, should I bring out my Metagross, should I bring out Talonflame? Well, my decision went to Talonflame because I know that from this range it can do a lot of damage with a U-turn, but he decided that it's not worth staying in with that amount of HP that his Tyranitar has left to take that U-turn from this Talonflame. So he goes out into his Charizard, takes that hit. It's actually resisted by 4 times. I mean, it's not super effective against flying, it's not super effective against fire, so it's actually resisted by 4 times. So I switch out into my Gengar here, and he switches out as well into his Ferrothorn. Double switching right there, really good move on his part. I'm actually going to go for the Thunderbolt here, trying to hit that Charizard, but instead I ended up hitting his Ferrothorn, which is obviously not going to do that much damage because once again it's resisted, and Ferrothorn has a pretty nice amount of HP and pretty good defensive stats. So I'm going to switch out into my Metagross as it goes for the lead seed on the switch. Lead seed on my Metagross, absolutely not a good idea. So I need to get rid of these things sooner or later. But before I actually end up switching out so I can get rid of the lead seed, I am definitely going to go for that mode. It's such an amazing move. I just like it. Hammer Arm. I'm going to go for that, and he's going to completely anticipate me and go out into his Aegislash. Wow, really cool move, dude. Yeah, I should have seen that coming, obviously, because I've used it before against his Tyranitar, so he knows pretty much what it is about, or at least what this Metagross is all about. So yeah, really bad matchup right here because I don't seem to have Earthquake on this Metagross, so I'm going to switch out into my Dragonite, as he's going to go for the Sword Dance, and that is going to give him a +2 attack, and you know, +2 attack Aegislash are goddamn scary. But I am still feeling safe because of my multi-scale. I'm gonna go for the Dragon Dance, which by the way was a pretty risky move on my part, because on this turn he's gonna change stance and he's going to go for that Iron Head, which is going to do a lot of damage. Even considering the fact that I still had multi-scale, it does a lot of damage, but it's that +2 attack, man, that's just crazy. And somehow he decided to stay in his you know, attacking stance, and it pretty much takes a Fire Punch to the face, and I'm basically just take it out. That was a really waste of an Aegislash right there. But anyway, it's gonna bring out his Tyranitar. I'm going to go for the Earthquake, and that's gonna kill that Tyranitar because it's super effective and I'm at +1 attack. And things are really looking good for me at this point. I'm like, well, you know, I might just win this match right here. Dragonite might just pull through and kill everything on his team. But obviously things are not going to be that pretty in the end. But you'll see what happens. So he's going to bring out his Greninja at this point. He's going to go for the Water Shuriken, obviously for that priority, and deal as much damage as he possibly can. In combination with the Sand, obviously, because that's going to be dealing damage every single turn as well until it subsides. I'm going to go for the Earthquake and take down his Greninja, which is amazing. Dragonite has done a great job so far. It has taken out 3 of his Pokemons, and things are just amazing. And this was one of the key plays in this game. Had I not gone for this move, I would have lost this game. I was debating whether I should go for the Outrage or the Fire Punch. I knew that he still had his Ferrothorn left, so I was like, you know, I'm at +1, and Fire Punch, I know Fire Punch is not super effective against Charizard, but Charizard doesn't have the best physical defenses, so I might as well just go for the Fire Punch. He predicts the Outrage and goes out into his Ferrothorn, and it pretty much sponges, or actually it dies to a Fire Punch, which is totally awesome. I live with 1 HP though, and he only has 2 Pokemons left, being his Mega-Lucario and his Charizard. Now at this point he goes for a Mega Evolution on his Lucario, and this is the thing where I just almost had a heart attack, because he goes for the Extreme Speed, kills my Dragonite, totally fine. One thing I did not see coming was this, ladies and gents. I bring out my Gardevoir, and I'm gonna go for the Mega Evolution right here. I don't really seem to use my Mega Gardevoir too many times, or too often in battle, so I decided to show it off in this one. But unfortunately, it was against the worst foe ever, because he goes for the for the Shadow Claw, takes me right out, and that was just a waste of a Mega Evolution. That was just ridiculous. Alright, I know that, but he takes me out. And I'm gonna bring out my Talonflame, and then he goes for Extreme Speed and kills me, and I'm like, holy shit, this Lucario is actually killing everything on my team at this point. He gets a critical hit though, but I don't think that mattered, or didn't matter, I don't know. Whatever the case, he's killed 3 of my guys at this point, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna bring out my Metagross. He is most likely going to predict the Hammer Arm, and knowing that, he might go out into his Charizard. So above all that, I'm going to over-predict here, and I'm going to go for the Gengar, predicting the switch into his Charizard, which is amazing. This move also, you know, totally won me this game, because in the end, I obviously did not lose this game. I go for the Shadow Ball, take down his Charizard, and I feel bad that I just spoiled the game, damn it. But anyways, he's gonna bring out his, you know, his Mega-Lucario, and it actually outspeeds me. I'm like, what the hell? How fast is this thing? I don't even know. So I searched it on Cerebi.net, and it seems like it has like 5 points higher max speed than Gengar, so that was quite surprising. So at this point he goes for the close combat because it's a 1v1, doesn't kill me, gets that -1 defense and a -1 special defense. I go for that Hammer Arm, and I basically seal the victory right here. Now he told me that he had Aura Sphere on his arsenal. So had he gone for that, he would have killed me because my Metagross is trained in defense and HP, but doesn't even have a 31 IVs in special defense, and it doesn't have any investments in special defense either. So he would have won the game had he gone for Aura Sphere, but because he chose to go for the close combat, he lost it. And it was a pretty good game. It was really close, 1 versus 1 at the end. Metagross pulled through. Everybody, thank you very much for watching. Comment, rate, and subscribe. Thank you very much for all the support. Follow me on Twitter and add me on Facebook. All the links will be down in the description, and I'll talk to you guys later.